have a quick question for you, Skip. If they find out he was doping, can they strip him of his Tour de Franzia title?
Wow.
If there's some sort of doping allegations.
I thought we were moving on from...
All right, we'll move on. Let's get to the Petosky Batman. Mark Williams, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Mark, we talked to you last, I think it was spring.
It was April.
Was it April? Okay, a little... some trouble up there with the police. Refresh our memory what happened back in April.
Well, it happened, it initially happened May of 2011. I was arrested for having some items on my person that were illegal, baton and some gloves that were weighted. I got 6 months probation for that, and I think it was, I actually ended up having my probation extended for a month due to some community service stuff I had to get done, and I think I was off in June.
All right, and this was this all stemmed from a situation where you were out patrolling the neighborhood.
Yes, I was out keeping an eye on things, just kind of patrolling the area, making sure, if I saw something suspicious, I'd report it, that kind of thing.
Okay, and the police, they ended up arresting you. You went through all that or whatever. Yeah. And now there's been a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, this new incident, it actually kind of has me a little bit upset. The previous incident when I was arrested last May, I completely understood why. I had some things on my person I wasn't supposed to have. I didn't know they were illegal at the time, but they were. This time, however... The basic story of what happened is my partner and I, she's also a friend of mine, we were out looking at houses.
Batgirl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She's actually looking for houses to rent, and we were out looking at them. On the way back into town, I had already suited up because it was getting dark. It was getting close to time to go out for the patrol. And we were passing this field, and out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw somebody or something kind of stalking around these bushes and going through this field, and I just, it caught me as kind of odd because it was kind of out in the country a little ways, and I wanted to check it out. So I get out and I go out there and I'm looking around. About 5-10 minutes later, Batgirl calls me. She explains to me that the police are actually looking for an individual that took off from the scene of an accident, and they're looking in that area.
Now, do you, real quick, I want you to understand, how committed are you guys? Is this just a regular cell phone you used, or is it a special phone that you only use when you go out?
No, it's a regular cell phone.
But I mean, do you have another one, or you only use that one? I didn't want to know if you had a regular and a bat phone, or just one phone for both.
No, we have. We do have regular phones, just regular phones we use to communicate with each other and everything. I actually do have a standard phone that I use to call 911. So that it's
okay.
Always the same number, so they know who it is calling.
Okay, so you ended up calling her then?
Yeah, I called her and I asked her, hey, can you call 911? Let them know she called me actually to let me know the police were looking.
Okay.
I asked her to call 911, let them know that I was out there in the field. I didn't want them to mistake me for the person they were looking for. She said okay. About 4 or 5 minutes later, she called me back, said that 911 had spoke with the officers, and the officers requested that I leave the scene. I said, okay. I was in the middle of these trees, and the best way I saw out was to walk up this hill that led up to, this house and the road and everything that I could take back down to the main road and get out of there, so that's what I proceeded to do. I wanted to keep the troopers and the police out there informed of, where I was and what I was doing, so I called 911 when I made it to the top of this hill, let them know where I was, and I'm on my way out of the area. By the time I got down to the end of this road, to the main road, the troopers had shown up and arrested me. Basically, they sat there, asked me a few questions about where I was. I pointed out where I was, and they put me in handcuffs and arrested me for obstruction of police investigation.
Do you think that What do you think the police's motive here is? I'm talking with Mark Williams, the Petosky Batman. There was an incident Saturday night. What do you think their motive is, Mark? Have they been infiltrated, or what's going on?
I don't know exactly what their motives would be. It could be just a simple misunderstanding. They might have thought that maybe I went there with the intention to interfere with their investigation, which is not at all the case. But I will say that the trooper that arrested me was very disrespectful. He seemed more interested in berating me for being dressed as Batman and being out there, more so than, actually what I was supposed to be doing.
Well, what type of things did he say to you?
Basically, he was basically just screaming at me, saying that, I'm 33 years old, I have no business being out there dressed as Batman, that I need to, just hang it up and stay at home and all this other stuff. And, I've heard it from other people before. Not everybody's going to like what I'm doing. I respect that. But at the same time, he's a professional police officer, and I honestly feel, at least in my mind and in my heart, that I was arrested not for being at the scene of this crime, but I was arrested because I dress up like Batman and go through the streets. And I don't think that, as a professional police officer, I don't think that whether or not he likes what I'm doing or not should have any bearing on whether or not I get arrested.
And you are concerned enough about your community, and you respect the law enough that you don't want to break any laws.
No, I don't. I never had any intention of breaking any laws. I go out of my way to make sure that I don't, and to make sure I know what I can and can't do. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but again, I don't understand how I was breaking. Okay, let me put it to you this way. A person wearing normal clothes is out for a walk and they see something moving in the field and go to check it out. Minutes later, they realize there's a police investigation going on around that area, and they call 911, and, the troopers respond. Yes, of course, they're going to ask this person to leave, but I feel would it be fair to arrest this individual just because he was out for a walk and saw something that he wanted to look into? It's not like he had knowledge of the police investigation. I'm almost willing to bet that if I was wearing normal clothes and I wasn't who I am, I basically would have been escorted out of the area, and that would have been that.
This is. I'm a little concerned here. I'm a little concerned if you weren't breaking the law that they would have arrested you. I'm a little concerned.
Right.
What did they end up charging you with?
They charged me with obstruction of police investigation.
And do they charge you with resisting as well?
Resisting falls under the obstruction. It's obstruction resisting.
So it's one charge?
Yeah, it's one charge. It all falls under the same category there. It's a 2-year felony. And like I said, I'm hoping that maybe it's just a misunderstanding. And hopefully I can work it out when I go in for arraignment. But, I don't want to say for 100% sure that the trooper in question arrested me just because of who I am. I'm hoping maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe he thought that I came there with the intention of interfering with their investigation.
Did you get the feeling that he knows who you are?
Oh, he knows who I am. I was in uniform.
I'm Batman.
So he knows exactly who I am. It's just, and he obviously doesn't like the fact that I'm out there. Like I said, I'm just, I'm really hoping that has nothing to do with whether or not he arrested me. I'm hoping that maybe he is a little bit more professional than that.
Bruce, do you think, damn it, Mark, do you think that they talk about you? Do you think the police, you're in a smaller community, compared with Detroit, Petosky.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure everybody talks about me, and police are people just like everybody else. I'm sure that they, there's probably some of them that respect what I do, and there's probably others that think I, need professional help, So I'm sure that there's probably some discussion about me.
You've got 5,000 likes on Facebook?
Yeah, and it seems to be climbing ever since this news story broke. I've gotten a lot of support from the community, which I'm very thankful for.
So what's going to happen now, Mark? Let's say, if you're convicted and prosecuted and everything else, obviously that's a different story. But if this goes away, or even let's say you're prosecuted and you end up going to jail for time or whatever, will you continue?
As long as I'm able to do this, I'm going to be out there doing this. It's something I strongly believe in. We as citizens have the right, not only the right, but the responsibility to look out for one another and to try to affect change for the better in our communities. And like I said, helping people, it's something that I feel strongly about doing. Doing it as Batman may seem unorthodox to some, but it draws attention, it draws awareness to the issues that I'm trying to fight against. And it's a great tool when I'm out in the field. I mean, when you come up upon somebody who's fighting or they're in a domestic situation, 9 times out of 10, a normal person gets involved, that person's going to end up getting into the dispute with them, getting into a fight, and it gets physical.
Now, were you allowed to go out while you were on probation?
I was allowed to go out while on probation. I mean, they can't really stop you from walking the streets.
Mm-hmm. Were you allowed to go out in uniform?
I was not allowed to wear the uniform while on probation, no.
But you were no longer on probation when you started, once again, resuming your alter ego.
Correct.
When did that happen?
That, again, I think that might have been mid-July. I finally got off probation, and it was the following weekend that I suited up again for the first time.
Batman.
What was it like as you suited up again?
Honestly, it felt great. It's something I was doing
Batman.
Before the initial arrest. I was doing it for almost a year, and
Splat.
It was it's a great feeling to be out there knowing that you're doing something good for the community and trying to help people. And
did you get the chills, the butterflies in your stomach, the excitement?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's once you do something for so long, it's just like any other, like a job. You do it for so long, if it's something you love, if that's taken away, you're definitely going to miss it. So,
have you, between the incident Saturday night and back to when you started again in July or whatever, did you run into any other noteworthy incidents?
There was a couple incidences in which I helped the police and actually was able to help this young lady out of a domestic situation. It was the first night back out, actually. My partner and I were in the park, and we witnessed this guy following this girl around. She asked him repeatedly to be left alone. He ended up basically putting her in a bear hug and holding her there, and she kept telling him he was hurting her.
Zoinks.
It wasn't until my partner and I walked up that he finally decided to let go of this young lady and kind of walk away.
So what happened to that joker?
We're not exactly sure. My partner was calling 911 as I tried to break the two up. We did give a description to the police, and I know that they did go after him. I'm not sure. I'm sure that he was probably arrested, but
I'm Batman.
Other than that, I'm not sure what happened with him.
So riddle me this. If they were supportive of you helping them then, why the trouble now?
Well, it's two different police agencies. The ones that I'm normally dealing with are the city police. This was outside the city limits, and it was actually the state troopers. And as I said, police are people. They're individuals. There's, like I said, there's always going to be some that respect and like what I do. There's going to be some that don't really care, and there's going to be others that just for some whatever reason don't agree with it. They just they don't think I should be out there. So
now, tell me other people that have taken up alter egos in your community. As you mentioned, Batgirl, your partner. Is there anybody else?
There is one other person I've heard of. I have not met this individual in person. I can't say 100% that he's actually out there patrolling like we do. But he calls himself the Charlevoix Captain, and he's based over in Charlevoix here, probably about a...
Protecting Charlevoix.
Yeah, it's about a 30-mile drive from Petosky, I think. Maybe a little bit less than that.
And you guys have not come in contact working ever?
No, we have talked a few times on Facebook. He contacted me. But I have not actually been able to meet him in person, so I can't say for sure that he's actually out there.
Do you know his secret identity?
I don't, actually, no. No, I do not.
But yours has obviously been compromised through all of this. Prior to your arrest, was it compromised?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What about Batgirls? Is hers publicly known now?
Yeah, for the most part. I can tell you her first name is Bree. I don't know if she wants
like
to...
the cheese? No, it's okay. Just Bree like the cheese?
It's Brittany, actually, is her full name.
Bree, okay.
Yeah.
Now, are the
like me to put her last name out there, but...
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm curious, and this is going to get a little bit personal. I'm speaking with the Petosky Batman, Mark Williams. Mark, are the two of you a little bit of an item? You got anything going on there?
We were, actually, at one time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did the work get in the way?
No, it's just, we're not exactly finished with that. We're just, with everything else going on, we're both going through some personal issues right now with our, our own personal lives, and now this happening with this.
This just adds on.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine. I mean, if you're out there with her, there's got to be that fear, that extra. You're trying to protect her and keep her out of harm's way because that's what guys do for their significant other, right?
Right. Absolutely.
That's got to be difficult to work with her.
Yeah, she's but she's a great help. I mean, she feels the same way about me. She would go out of her way to help me out, protect me, and everything. And I mean, that's part of the reason why we work so well together is because we do have that emotional attachment, but at the same time, we don't let it interfere too much with our judgment.
But you've had another girlfriend on and off too at the same time, right?
Yeah, actually, I do.
How does she feel about you working so closely with that girl?
It's stressful. It's stressful in our relationship, but she also understands. I mean, like I said, this is something I've been doing for a couple of years now, and it's nice to have somebody else out there helping me out so I don't feel so overwhelmed with everything.
How does your girlfriend feel about your work?
She is completely understanding about it. She actually is very proud of what I do.
Has she ever considered helping?
No, not so much. She's more behind the scenes. She likes to try to do the whole taking care of me thing when I get home. So she's more of a behind the scenes type person.
All right, Mark Williams, the Petosky Batman. I appreciate you joining and laying it out there. Please keep us posted on what's happening. You go to court, October 18th?
October 18th, 9 a.m. Yes, sir.
9 a.m. All right, we'll be watching and hoping all goes well for you. If we can help you out, by all means, let us know, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Mark Williams, the Petosky Batman, in trouble from an incident Saturday night where he was out on patrol.
I'm Batman.
Oh, darn it. I wanted to get him to say that. I wanted to get him to say, I'm the Petosky Batman.
I'm Petosky Batman.
Yeah, we got to get him doing the Petosky Batman. Interesting.
Yeah, I can call him back if you want.
I get the feeling you guys aren't taking this seriously.
He might have
enough.
some extra time.
Completely was. I mean, if he's not breaking the law, then he shouldn't have been arrested. Shouldn't be any trouble. All right, coming up right after the news at 5:05, we're going to get to your calls, 248-356-1270.